Hey y'all. Well met. It's Alan. Um, so today is day 8 of the community Vlogmas. And the question today is, what is your most treasured memory? So the first very treasured memory is very treasured for two reasons. I believe this was in 1990. It was somewhere between 1996 and 1998. My great grandmother passed in 1995 or 1994 rather. And I believe, and then I graduated high school in 95. So I believe it was directly after high school that we went to Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina for vacation, which is just across the border from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Anyways, the whole family had gotten together and the whole family like anteed up and rented a beachfront house. There were something like 8 bedrooms in this thing, I think. I don't remember exactly now. But anyway, so mom and I went with, I think, 1, 2, 3 great aunts and 2 of their husbands and a couple of second cousins and my grandmother, my aunt and uncle, and my 2 first cousins. So there were like a whole lot of people there. And my bedroom, in this big plethora of people, was the bedroom downstairs, which is, it's not an outside bedroom, but it's not in the main house. When we first got there and I stepped out onto the deck and saw the ocean at midday, my breath was literally taken from my body. I had to sit down right where I was on the deck. And I mean, I was in absolute awe. It is the first and only time, mind you, that I have seen the ocean in all of my 42 years. And so I think I was 19, so I was either 19 or 20. So it was either 1996 or 1997. And so it was the most amazing thing in my life. And we were there for 2 solid weeks. Like we were there for 14 days. And I was just out of my mind at this point. Like I felt like I had been swallowed up by the goddess at that point. Like it was just amazing. That entire vacation is one of my most treasured memories. And it's not just because I saw the ocean. First reason that this was an amazing treasured memory is the fact that that's the year that I came out to my first cousin, Tim. And I grew up basically with him as my older brother, even though he was like my first cousin. So we're driving, like I'm driving my cousin's car, his sister's car, while he's like chugging him back in the passenger seat. And I'm just like driving around and he goes, slow the fuck down so I can look at the chicks. And I'm like, seriously? And he goes, I know you don't look at chicks. So are you gay? And I just like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, here's the thing. I'll keep it quiet. It's not my business to tell, but you're my cousin and I love you and I have no judgment. He was the first person that I actually came out to in my family. And so that was one reason. That's one reason that was one of my most treasured memories. Second reason that this vacation was one of my most treasured memories is because while I was at the ocean, several nights in a row, I mean, it's like 2, 3 in the morning, right? It's dark, everybody's asleep. I sneak out, go down the beach, and it's a private beach anyways, because it's owned by a private company. It is a vacation spot, but it's owned by a private real estate company. And so it's a private beach and it's not a public beach and it's like not packed all the time, or at least it wasn't in the 90s. And so at night, it was quiet as could be. Like the only thing you would hear at all ever was the surf. Like there was nothing else to hear because everybody was asleep. There was nobody on the beach at night. So I'm like, I sneak out of my room. Not that I have to sneak because I'm like downstairs, the only person in the bedroom downstairs. Everybody else is inside the house upstairs asleep. So I come out of my room, I go down to the beach, I draw sigils in the sand and wait for tide to come in and carry them out. Like I'm doing magic like a boss. I would sit and meditate for hours. Like I would go to bed at probably 5 o'clock in the morning, or like right before dawn, or like right after dawn. Like I would watch the sunrise and go to bed for several of those nights. Um, and it was just the most amazing experience to be there and feel the presence of goddess in the ocean, like coming off of the ocean. And it was just so powerful for me. And so, yeah, that's the second reason that's one of my most treasured memories. Yeah. My second most treasured memory is when we would go back to my great grandmother's house to visit the family for holidays and whatnot in the mountains of eastern Kentucky. There was a weeping willow in her front yard, and I fucking loved that tree. Like I would be underneath of that tree, like for so much of the visit. It was like crazy. But there were also times where I would be inside the house and I would be sitting at the dining room table and my great grandmother would just tell stories while she was cooking her chicken and dumplings, which was the best fucking thing on the planet you could ever possibly eat. And so those stories um, are things that she did that most of the family, I dare say none of the family knew about. Um, uh, she did some Appalachian Rudy Worky stuff without people really knowing about it. And she helped people in the community, but like the family, I don't know if anybody in the family actually knew that she did this, but she did brew work. And, you know, and sweet little old me is like, tell the stories, mama. Because I'm like listening like a boss and picking everything I can possibly pick up. So, you know, going back to visit family in the mountains of eastern Kentucky is a treasured memory for me. We'll talk to you next time. Peace, blessed be, and namaste.